Hello fellow inmates of the YouTube world. Just wanted to sit down and show you what I had got to. I've been playing around with us trying to build another knife, and I spent some time trying to sit down and get together what I wanted the hilt and the tang and the handle and the grips all to look like. When I started off with this particular guard right here. Let's see if I can get it on there. See it? But it was too small. I didn't like it, so I conferred with my video manager / friend, Daddy 1911, and this is what I come up with right here. Yep. So I kind of like this new guard. It's a little big. I'm planning to carry this in a shoulder holster, so I didn't want it to have just like a huge guard on it, because I didn't want to fall down on it and it hurt me or anything. So and just messing around, I think that's about what I want right there. But what I've got going on here is that I want to sit down and put the guard on first, of course. I'm wanting to do all of this in leather is what I have on mine now. And that's kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like as far as when I start working on the real one. And just to keep everything the way it was, I used the other guard to kind of come in behind it. I don't know how that's going to work out on the actual mock-up or the actual finished product, but that's where it's at. So in cutting out what I want to do with the leather washers, I cut out all of these little see if I can get it where it'll focus in on it. Don't want to do it. There it is. Sitting down and I number all of the washers, and there's more than 26. Let me just tell you that up front, but that's what I started off with. And my plan is to let them go on there just one piece at a time. Let me see if I can find the corresponding numbers here. There's 24. There's 25. I wanted to use, in theory, to be able to sit down and kind of have a shaped handle like that. But in playing with it, I didn't like the way that came out looking. And it's one of the good things about using something like cardboard or a different medium than what you're actually doing it with, instead of trying to figure it out while you're in the process of doing the actual thing, is that you can change your mind and it doesn't cost you anything. But as I went along, I decided that I kind of liked the taper of the tang, the way it felt in my hand. So I said, if you got a good thing, why change it? So I stopped trying to make that little design shape that I had down there, and decided instead to follow the tang work, how it was shaped. There's 19. When you're doing this to keep the shape like you want it, this is the easiest way to do it, is as you get them cut out, to number them. What I did was cut them all out in squares, and then I simply shaped them the way I wanted to with a pair of scissors on this. How I'm going to do that with the leather is I'm going to try probably use an X-Acto knife, or go back and use Old Faithful, which is my box cutter. But we'll see how it works out. Sometimes you just have to kind of play with it. One of the things that I did while I was doing this was to make sure as I turned them off that I had all of the numbers turned the right, a particular way, so that when I was putting it back together, I knew which way it was turned, because if you turn some of the wrong way, it will not go back together right. So you have to be kind of vigilant in what you're doing. when you're putting it back together or when you're taking it apart. You get into a problem like with 11, so you might want to mark one side or the other. I hit that on a couple of the numbers. That's the same either way you turn it. Ah, there it is. Nope. There we go. But just a little bit at a time. It's a process. Like I said, I like to try to sit down and do it with a different medium, an easier medium to work in, so that when I start working on the real thing, I've got pretty much worked out how I want to do it. And it lets me see where different problems will arise and gives me the advantage of being able to hopefully work around them. And if I mess something up with the cardboard, it's not that big of a deal. Cardboard's cheap. Only thing you lose on this is maybe your mind and some time. Sorry about that, guys. My camera is trying to give up the ghost here. Let me see here. Where was I at? I'm on 4. That's 3. Let's see. When I started off, I thought I had enough rings, but I didn't. So I had to come back around and go into the negatives when I started making the smaller ones. One of the problems that I hit when I was trying to do the other ones, oops, I don't want to hit myself. Zero is the number. And I'm sorry for the camera work. I'm still trying to figure out how to do things here. So y'all bear with me while I'm playing. I lost a few of the washers while I was playing, but I still got enough of them to get what I want done. And there we have it. Now, eventually, what I'm going to try to be doing with this is I'm going to take a piece of probably 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch round stock, and I'm going to make a skull crusher pommel. And since I don't really have a corresponding piece of material to do that with on the mock-up, I'm probably just going to have to kind of fly blind with that one. But this gives me an idea of what the blade is going to look like when I get it done, and I just kind of, like I said, I kind of like that tapered feel, and I'm hoping that the leather is going to come out and do pretty good. So that's where we're at right now in the mock-up. Hopefully I can get started cutting out the blade, the steel blank out of the lawnmower blade that I've got for it. At least the first prototype, and that's where we're at. Thank you for your time, and if you've got any constructive comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. This is Uncle Fester signing off for the Shade Tree Survivalists. Y'all have a good one.